Hello everyone, welcome back to CAD Builder Training. We'll just continue forward with some more wireframe examples. This time we're going to deal with a more complex vanity base cabinet. So once again, we'll jump into our catalog. I'll actually be using the starter catalog, which is a catalog made from our starter template. And let's go with something like a vanity sink base with a drawer stack on one end, a drawer stack on the other end, and in the middle will be the place for our sink with maybe a pair of doors and a drawer front above. So we'll go over to sink base. I'm going to access the sink base with false front category. And we have some pre-built sinks already in the template, but for a more complex example like this, we need to create one. And I'll once again just be doing it from an empty base cabinet, so we can see piece by piece how it is made. There's my empty base. I'll select it and I'll edit its wireframe. Now, as before, the first step is to select the correct construction method. So I'm going to go with the framed butt joint full overlay once more. I'll change its skew. Let's go with vanity sink. And then I'll set its overall dimensions. For the overall width, I will use 72 inches. For the depth, I will use 21. And my height, I will leave at 34.5. And first things first, I'm going to set my front section openings. So I go to the front. And as mentioned, I'm going to want a drawer stack on the left, drawer stack on the right, and then the middle portion left for the sink and a pair of doors. So I'm going to select this area, and I'm going to add 2 styles, giving me a total of 3 openings. And then I'm going to set the opening widths. Let's say for the left, we're going to go an opening width of 18 inches. We'll do the same for the one on the right, 18 inches, leaving me a space in the middle of 30 inches, style to style. So far, what we have is this, just 2 mid styles in the appropriate places. The next step is to start dropping in those drawer and door elements. So I'm going to go to the front sections, and I'll select this left area. I'm going to make 3 openings here with 2 mid rails. The top one I'm going to make a drawer, but the middle one a drawer as well, as was the bottom also a drawer element. And I'll size these drawer fronts. Let's go with the drawer front height of 6 inches at the top. And then if I want these two to be the same, I'll just average them out. So 13.5 plus 9 5/8. Plus 13.5 divided by 2 gives me 11 9/16 for the 2 drawer front heights. So far, I have this. I'll do the same for the drawer stack on the other side. So make them into 3 openings. Make the top drawer front 6 inches high. And 11 9/16 for the other 2 drawer fronts. Alright, so now I have 2 drawer stacks on the other side. And now we need to do the middle portion. So a false drawer front at the top and a pair of doors below. So I'll go to my front sections, select the middle portion, and I'll add a single horizontal mid rail. I'll define this upper portion to be a false drawer, meaning that it gets a drawer front, but doesn't get a drawer box behind it. And I'll make this door height 6 inches as well. And if I want this to be a pair of doors, I just select this portion and I click on Add Paired Doors, which makes them 2 doors of opposing hinges of the same size. And when I open or close these elements, I can see they're opening in the correct direction. Next, I need to add a partition here to hide these drawer boxes, partition right there to do the same, and maybe an adjustable shelf in between them. Easiest way to do this is by aligning them by the front sections. So I go to my front sections, I'll turn on Show Hidden Interior Elements so we can see what's going on. And then I select this mid style and I click on Add Limited Partition, which adds a partition directly behind the style. I'll do the same with the right side here, Add Limited Partition. And the result looks like this. Now, if I actually want these partitions to line up to the inside or the outside of the style, I can do this individually as well. For instance, let's say I want this partition to be lining up with the left side of this style. I would go to my interior parts, select that partition in question, and in the that would be frame alignment attribute, we can enable it to align it to the left side of the style or the right side of the style, or some distance away from either of these two edges. But I'll just place it to the left, which maximizes the inside space that I have in this middle section. I'll do the same with the partition on the other side. I'll make that aligned to the right. And then I'm good to go. And then final piece is to add that adjustable shelf in the middle. So I'll go to the inside sections and I will place horizontal element right there, an adjustable shelf. And this is my result. That's that. So I would save this and exit out. Let's repeat this as well for the frameless construction. So I'll change my construction method to frameless but drawing full overlay. And I would follow much the exact same steps as before. I would set my front sections and inside sections. I'm not necessarily going to do that here. I'm just going to go to my front sections and resize them. I'm not going to do it from scratch. So I'm going to want this top drawer front to be 6. And then these two to be the same, 11 and 29, 30 seconds. I'll do the same with the right side, drawer front of 6, and these two to be the same. And maybe I want the drawer front widths to be 20 instead. I can do that too, 20 inches, 20 inches. Note that this changes the cell width to enact that change. So I'm going to need to change the partition locations as well. We'll cover that very shortly. I'll set this drawer front also to be 6 inches tall. And I can either go to the inside sections and resize them, but the easier way would be to just delete them and reinitialize them. So I'm going to go to inside sections. I'm going to delete this shelf. I'm going to delete this partition and the one to the right. Then I jump into my front sections, select this middle reveal, and add a limited partition. So I go for the right, add limited partition. And once again, I'll add that adjustable shelf down the middle. Now, since this is a frameless construction, I'm also going to be putting a drawer stretcher in between each of the horizontal reveals. Other than the false drawer front, I will leave that alone. So I'm going to go to the left. I'll select this reveal, add a shelf, add a shelf, add a shelf to that, add a shelf to the bottom reveal as well. Well, for that matter, if I need it to be there to hold the false drawer front in place, maybe I will add a limited shelf so that the doors also have something to stop on at the top. And then I'll go to the inside sections and define them to be drawer stretchers. Drawer stretcher and finally drawer stretcher. And this is the finished result. Now, of course, if I need to align the partitions by some other measurement, if I don't want it to be just down the middle of the reveal, I can do that within the inside sections where I can select the opening and resize it, but I'll just leave them as they are. Alright, so I save the cabinet after changing it back to the default. Exit the wireframe menu, and I'm good to go. Now, what if I need this vanity sync for different sizes, because I'm dealing with different spaces and I want my catalog to have the default construction to accommodate that? How can I change which spaces are going to change based on width and which are not? Well, if you go within a cabinet's wireframe and you select any opening within the front sections or the inside sections, you'll notice that there's a parameter called fixed width or fixed height. Fixed width or fixed height. If this is checked on, then it will exclude that opening from being resized whenever you change the overall cabinet size. So for instance, let's say I always want this section to stay the same and only my mid section to change size based on my cabinet width. I can select the space in between the left side and the partition, mark it a fixed width. I'll do the same with the right side, mark that a fixed width. And then I'll do the same within the front sections. I go to my front and I select this left cell, any of the left cells, make it a fixed width. I'll do the same with the right cell, fixed width. What does this do exactly? Well, if I go now within my wireframe and I change the overall width to, let's say, 60 inches, these two drawer stack openings, as well as the elements in between them, will stay the same size. It's only this middle section that will enact that change because it's the only one that has not been fixed in width. If I then change it, let's say, to 80, that extra space again only goes to the mid section. The other two left sections stay the same. So if you use a sync base like this for your vanities, and you always keep the same distances for the sides or for the middle, you can use this fixed width attribute to make it easier for you when you're making your designs. You don't necessarily then need to go within the wireframe to manually change the sizes of these openings again. So once more, we'll save the cabinet, exit, and we're good to go. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.